Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Pimlico Racecourse here on Saturday. It is May the 19th, 2018. I'm going to look at all the stakes races on today's program from Pimlico, including the Preakness. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. I'm going to look at all the stakes races on today's program from Pimlico. Those races are races 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the featured 13th race, which is the Preakness. So races 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the Preakness, which is race number 13. So let's get on to it. Starting off race number 5 from Pimlico. The 5th race, it's the 9th running at the James W. Murphy Stakes. Purse $100,000. It's for 3-year-olds here. Fields of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters with the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Pimlico slow turf course. 1 mile, 1,600 meters. Remember, the ground is very wet today at Pimlico, very wet. My top selection here, I like the number 6 horse, Say the Word. I'm going to go 639 in the tricast of the trifecta. 639, tricast, trifecta. Top pick number 6, Say the Word. 5-2, Jose Ortiz is on this Grand Motion train, 3-year-old gelding by More Than Ready. This horse's most recent outing came 3 weeks ago now at Keeneland. A mile 3/16, 1,900 meters in main special weight for 62,000. This horse won by 4 3/4 lengths that day. You know, just tracked the leading pair, got the leading stretch, and then took off clear. Very nice victory for this horse. You know, before that ran the 17th of March at Gulfstream, about 7 1/2 furlongs in main special weight for $48,000. This horse finished 4th by neck. That towards the back of the pack, but a great turnoff at the end. Just missed, but it was a very respectable race. Major improvement off her start before, she came out Woodbine, 7 furlongs on the Tapeta and the main special weight 74,000. Horse finished 5th by 7 lengths and just had nothing that day. And then before that, Laurel mile 16th main special weight 40,000. Horse finished 2nd by half length. Sat a little bit closer that day and actually had to lead in the stretch and then got overtaken right before the wire. That was a very weird race for him. But this horse is versatile. He could sit a little bit closer, or he could come from well behind. I think with the way the turf course is playing today, he'll sit a little bit closer, and I really think he should run well here today. In a multi-race pick ticket, I would single him, so watch out. So recount my bets for today's 5th race from Pimlico. It's the 9th running of the James W. Murphy Stakes. Gonna go with the 6 horse, Say the Word. I'm gonna go 639 in the tricast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 7 from Pimlico. Race number 7 from Pimlico. It's the 117th running of the Dixie Stakes. Grade 2, purse $250,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Pimlico turf course. The rails are down this afternoon, so they'll be running against the hedge or the inside rail. So it's a fresh portion of turf. But just to keep in mind, Friday's races at Pimlico on the turf were so slow. They ran a mile and a 16th in 151 and almost 153. So, you want to be close to the front end. If you're coming from behind, it looks like you have no chance. So just keep that in mind. It's so slow. As a top selection here in the Dixie, a race that's very, has a great history to it. I like, as a top selection, the 4 horse Frostmorn. I'm trying to be world approval, but I'll definitely use him on a multi-race ticket. Pick 4, pick 3. I'm going to go 4-7-6 in the tricast of the trifecta. 4-7-6 tricast trifecta. But as a top pick, I like the 4 horse Frostmorn. 9-2. I rather choose juniors on this 4-year-old colt by Spicetown. This horse's most recent outing came on the 13th of April at Keeneland. 1 mile on firm ground in the Maker's 46 mile. This horse finished 5th by 2 1/4 lengths. Closed up a little bit that day, but it wasn't that good strong kick you want to see in a horse. Probably needed the race for its horse's first start since coming up north. Before that Gulfstream 1 mile on op 75 claimer. Horse won by a length that day. Didn't have the best beginnings, stalked early, but got the lead, and then he took off clear. Very nice victory for this horse off a little bit of a break. And then Belmont Inner Turf Course, mile 8th in the Hill Prince in the fall. Horse finished 4th by 3/4 length. Sat a little bit closer to the front end, and then he sat a little closer to the front end that day. Actually had the lead in an all-out finish. Then he lost it at the wire to Yoshida, who won next start out last week in the in the Woodford Reserve, or excuse me, not the Woodford Reserve, Turf Classic, whatever they call the Turf Classic now at Churchill. You know, she'd have just had the little edge at the end, but he ran his heart out there. And then before the 2 months earlier, excuse me, 3 months earlier in the Kent at Delaware, mile on the 8th, July 15th, horse won by 6 lengths. You know, it was the best horse by a mile, and he just took off clear. Very nice, easy victory. This horse likes wet ground, sits a little bit close to what you need on this course today. Watch out for him to run a big one. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to be on a win wager, world approval. If I can, if any horse can, I think it's Frostmorn, the 4 horse. But to recount my bets for the 7th race from Pimlico, it's the 117th running of the Grade 2 Dixie. Gonna go with the 4 horse Frostmorn. I'm gonna go 4, 7, 6 in the TriCast or the trifecta. I'll go 4, 7 in multi-race ticket. So now let's get on to race number 8 from Pimlico. The 8th race, it's the 9th running of the Chick Lang Stakes. First $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds here. Field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Pimlico main track. 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters. My top selection here, I like the number 5 horse, my toll. I'm going to go 5, 3, 9 in the TriCast, the trifecta. 5, 3, 9, TriCast, trifecta. Top pick number 5, me toll. 3 to 5, Ricardo Santana Jr.'s on this 3-year-old colt by Escondrea, Steve Asmussen trains. This horse's most recent outing came a month ago now at Oaklawn. 6 furlongs in the Bachelor Stakes. This horse broke on top that day and was on lead all throughout. Won by 9 lengths, 40 cents a dollar. Had a very easy victory that day. Before that, an option 5 claimer, 9-1X at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs, March 17th. This horse won by 7 lengths that day. You know, was just, you know, sitting off a little bit of a pace stool, but this horse got the lead in the stretch, and then he took off. A very nice victory at the end for this horse. And then before that, Oaklawn saw it going 6 furlongs in the Gazebo Stakes. Horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. Had a horrible beginning that day. You know, got sent to lead, went a little bit too fast, and just really couldn't keep up with that at the end. You know, it just wasn't his day to win. But I think coming here to coming here to Pimlico, with a good posture, sitting a little bit closer to the pace, I really think he should run well. His only problem with this horse is the 3 to 5 odds on him is just horrible, but he should really run well. He's a single in the multi-race ticket. The pick 6 does begin with this race, and if I play it, I would single this 5 horse. So to recount my bets for the 8th from Pimlico, it's the 9th running of the Chick Lang. I'm gonna go with the 5 horse in my toll. I'm gonna go 5, 3, 9 in the TriCast of the trifecta. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Pimlico. Race number 9 from Pimlico. It's the 67th running of the Gallaret Stakes, Grade 3, purse $150,000. This race is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Pimlico Turf Course. Back to the low end with this race. 1,700 meters, 1 mile and 1/16. My top selection in this one, I like the number 5 horse here, the number 5 horse, who is Cambodia. I'm going to go 5, 6, 8, 3 in the superfecta. 5, 6, 8, 3 super. Top selection here. I like the 5 horse Cambodia. 8 to 5. Julien Leperouse on the 6-year-old mare by Warfront. Tom Proctor trains. This horse's most recent outing, first off the layoff on the 14th of April at Keeneland, a mile 16th in the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley. This horse finished 6th by 4.5 lengths. He stalked early and, you know, just really couldn't get that good closing kick that day. You know, the better horses won, but I think coming here with a little bit of a give in the ground, she should really run well. You know, before that 26th November at Del Mar, 1 mile in the Grade 1 Matriarch, she finished 4th by 2.5 lengths that day, and, you know, very tight turf course at Del Mar. A lot of horses who have traffic trouble there usually do a lot better next start out. This horse had traffic. She got it for 4th, but, you know, the traffic got to her. And then before then, the Bruce Cup Filly Mare Turf Del Mar, mile 8th, November the 4th. Horse had a very good finish by 1 3/4 lengths. You know, a little bit wide, but she closed up well. She was the best finish by the Americans that day. Just keep in mind, Wadillo won next start out 2 weeks ago at Newmarket, and Rhoda Renan is running, actually, who finished 2nd that day in the Bruce Cup Filly Mare Turf, is actually, Rhoda Renan is running this afternoon in England in the Lockinge, going a mile. She's facing the boys. So those are 2 very good horses. This horse just finished 3rd, really closed up well that
that day. Decent effort against tougher horses. And then before then, there's J.C. McBee at Del Mar, mile 10th second. Horse won by 3/4 length, a little bit wide, but she closed up well to get the victory at the end. You know, she won this race very nicely by 2 lengths in 2017. You know, she's got a little bit closer. She got the lead, then she took off. A very nice victory. I think she should run well here today, so watch out for her. Now, in the multi-race scenario, I would definitely use the 5-horse Cambodia because she's my top selection, and I would use the 6-horse Blessed Silence also. I think she could get a piece of it at the end also, and maybe even Eliza's Worlds. We'll see what my ticket looks like if we go 3 deep here, but definitely the first 2, 5, 6. So to recap my bets for the 9th from Pimlico, it's the 67th running of the Grade 3 Gallaret Stakes. Gonna go with the 5-horse Cambodia. Gonna go 5, 6, 8, 3 in the superfecta. 5, 6, 8, 3. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Pimlico. The 10th race, it's the 32nd running of the Maryland Sprint Grade 3, purse $150,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Pimlico main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. My top selection here in the Maryland Sprint, I like the number 4 horse, Lewis Field. I'm going to go 4-9-5-3 in the superfecta. 4-9-5-3 super. This is a very wide open race. I'm going to go 4 deep in this one. I'm going to use all 4 horses in my pick 4. So 4-9-5-3 in the pick 4 for me also. But my top selection here, I like the 4 horse Lewis Field. 7-2 gets Arnaldo Boca Chica on this one, coming from Charlestown to ride this 4-year-old gelded by Great Notion. Jeff Runco trains. This horse's most recent outing came in the Not for Love Stakes at Laurel 2 months ago now. 6 furlongs. He won by length that day. You know, was on the rail that day, setting the pace. Got a little overtaken early on, at the midpoint of the race, but then took off clear at the end to get the victory. A nice little victory for this horse that day. Before that, the 3rd of February at Laurel, 6 furlongs, option 25 claimer. First off, a little bit of a break. This horse won by 6 3/4 lengths, quickened up nicely, and had a very nice, easy victory. And then in a 75 overnight stakes here at Laurel, 6 furlongs to 7 of the 9th. Horse finished second by 4.5 lengths. You know, went a little bit too fast early on and kind of, you know, didn't have that extra turn of foot at the end. You know, that's the horse's first loss in quite a while. She did win 3 in a row before that. She won a very nice race at Laurel, won another very nice race at Laurel in September, and then she ran at Charlestown on a very wet going. 7 furlongs, maiden special weight of 23,000 August the 11th. She won by 20 lengths, and she just destroyed the field. Watch replay. It was a very easy race. I think she'll run a very big one here today. She's been training well. She should handle the going. Watch out for her, watch out for him. So to recap my bets for the 10th from Pimlico, it's the 32nd running of the Grade 3 Maryland Sprint. As a top selection, I like the 4 horse Lewis Field. I'm going to go 4-9-5-3 in the superfecta. I'll go 4-9-5-3 on a multi-race pick 4 ticket. So now let's get on to race number 11 from Pimlico. Race number 11 from Pimlico. It's the 18th running of the Very One Stakes. Purse $100,000 is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 14 horses going the distance of ground of 1,000 meters or the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the Pimlico turf course. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs. My top selection here, I like the number 11 horse, to the outside, the number 11. If we could ever get my iPad to load, it never wants to load on these big day when I look at these races. The number 11, as I keep stalling, who is the 11 horse Smiling Causeway. I'm going to go 11-7-14-3 in the superfecta. 11-7-14-3 super. Top pick number 11, Smiling Causeway. 7-2, Daniel Centennial's on this 4-year-old filly by Giants Causeway. Horse's most recent outing came on 30th of December. That came at Tampa. 5 furlongs on a very firm ground in the Lightning City Stakes. Horse won by 1.5 lengths that day. He closed up well, and he got a nice victory for this horse off a little bit of a break. You know, good effort. Before that, Keeneland, 5.5 furlongs in the fall in a lounge race, 67,000 non-2X. He won by head. He broke on top, set the pace, and he had a very nice victory that day. And then at Belmont in the September, 6 furlongs in the Christie Cat Stakes. He finished second by half length. He set the pace early for most of the race up until until he got caught right at the wire, but he ran his heart out. But to keep in mind there, he did brush the gate going out of it, which maybe maybe was the reason why he got caught out the wire, but he was quite fast that day. I like his post right here today. Normally you don't like a horse drawn 11 of 14, but the outside of the turf course is the firmest part of the ground, and I think he'll like, he wants firmer ground, and if he's on the inside, he's going to get too much of a soft ground. From the outside, I think he should really do well, get a good trip, and watch out for him to run a big one here today at 7-2. Now to the multi-race sequence, I would definitely use the 11 horse, and I would use the 7 horse. Girls know best also. I think she could run a big one. Possibly I'll use the 14 horse Miss Gossip also at a little bit of a price of 15-1 on my multi-race. To recap my bets for the 11th race from Pimlico, it's the 18th running of the very one. As a top selection here, I'll go to the number 11 horse, who is Smiling Causeway. I'll go 11-7, 14-3 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 12 from Pimlico. The 12th race, it's the 21st running of the Sir Barton Stakes. Purse $100,000. It's for 3-year-olds here. Field of 11 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Pimlico main sloppy track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 8 horse, X-Man. Going to go 8-2-10 in the tricast of the trifecta. 8-2-10 tricast trifecta. Top pick number 8, Axeman. 8-5. 3-year-old colt by Misremembered. Bob Baffert trains. Mike Smith gets the leg up. This is going to be the horse's first start stepping on a wet surface. Don't think that should be a problem. The way the course is playing at Pimlico this week, the track's been favoring a lot of speed front-end horses, and he has a lot of speed, and I really think he should go away with it. But his most recent outing came about 5 weeks ago now, the 8th of April at Santa Anita Park on the West Coast. 1 mile off, 75 claimer on 1X. This horse won by 8.5 lengths, 80 cents to the dollar at post time. He stalked early, got the lead, and then took off clear. Very nice, easy victory for this horse. Major improvement off his start before, which came on the 10th of February at Santa Anita. 7 furlongs into San Vicente. Horse finished 4th by 16 lengths, 40 cents to the dollar favorite. This horse just had nothing. Dueled early, went a little bit too fast, and he just couldn't keep up. And then he broke his maiden on New Year's at Santa Anita very easily, going 6 furlongs in main special weight 55,000. He won by 9.5 lengths on a lead all throughout. Very nice victory that day. Like I said, he has a good front end fashion for this race, and I think he's going to run well. So watch out for him. And a multi-race ticket now of my pick 4, pick 3, whatever I decide to play. I'm going to use the 2-horse Pony Up also, along with the 8-horse Axeman. He's a bit of a closer, and if there's a pace meltdown, I think he could get it at 7-2. I wouldn't even I actually wouldn't be surprised if this Pony Up sits a little bit closer today. If he sits closer, he could have an even better run instead of closing up from the back of the pack, but he'll be used also, so watch out for him. So to recap my bets for the 12th from Pimlico, it's the 21st running of the Sir Barton. Gonna go with the 8-horse Axeman. I'm gonna go 8-10 in the tricast of the trifecta. I'll go 8-2 in a multi-race ticket. So now let's get on to race number 13 from Pimlico. It's the feature race of the afternoon. It's the 143rd running of the Preakness Stakes. It's grade 1 race going for a purse of $1.5 million. We have a field of 8 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,900 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 3/16 on the Pimlico sloppy main track. Distance not run very often here in the United States, a mile 3/16. So I like this distance a lot because it's very unique. But it's a very wide open race for the bottom positions, not for win. For the superfectas, it's wide open, but for win, I really think Justify should really run a very good race, so he'll be my top selection. Here's my top 5 in order if you want to play a super high 5, but my top 5 in order is going to be 7-1-2-5-3, 7-1-2-5-3. I'll possibly play the super high 5, and most definitely I'm going to do a super key for 10 cents here. If you do my super key 7 with the 1, 2, 3, 5 for 10 cents, I believe it's only going to cost you $6, which is very, very affordable. But my top selection here is Justify, the 7-horse, 1-2. Surprised he'll probably go off at 1-5, something like that. 3-year-old colts by Scat Daddy. Bob Baffert trains. Mike Smith gets the leg up. This horse horse ran 2 weeks ago at Churchill, 1.25 miles on the slop in the Kentucky Derby. This horse won by 2 3/4 lengths. He let promises fulfilled go to set the early pace for the first half mile. When this horse had the move at the 7/16 pole, the race was over. He just had a great move, and he won very nicely. He probably could have won by more, I want to say, only because Mike Smith in the stretch had this horse on the rail. The rail that afternoon was so muddy and so deep that it wasn't the best part of the racetrack. If you notice in the final 16th of a mile, Mike Smith moves his horse out to a different path, a little outside, and that's when he started taking off again at the end. But like I said, I think he would have really won by a little bit more if he wasn't on the rail in the final 1/4 mile. Like I said, there was a lot of standing water there, but that was a very impressive Derby victory. Before that, in another Derby at Santa Anita, the Santa Anita Derby at Santa Anita Park, Mile 8th, April the 7th. This horse won by 3 lengths. It was a very subpar group of horses that day. This horse just took the lead and then took off clear walk that day. Very nice victory. And then he broke his maiden, he won his second race on the mud at Santa Anita very easily by 6.5 lengths. And then he broke his maiden at 7/8 of a mile at Santa Anita very easily on a main track. That was fast. Very easy victory there. He's been training well. There was a slight issue everybody was saying about his hoof. It was a little small irritation. It cleared up by last Tuesday. So he's been training well. He looks fit. He's the best looking horse by a mile in this race, and I really think he should run a big one, 1 to 2. He's a single for me, and in a multi-race wager. But you're gonna have to, in other legs earlier, you're gonna have to get those long shots to come in. I'll talk about a few other horses here. The one horse Quip, I think, if Justified doesn't run his race, I think Quip is the horse that could maybe upset. He has the speed from the inside. He's 12-20. He gets Florent Giroux on this one. This horse hasn't started since the Arkansas Derby a month ago, where he finished second by 4 lengths, and he just couldn't catch Magnum, who just really walked that day. This horse just couldn't get that good closing kick. Before then, the Tampa Derby, this horse won by a length. He stalked early, got the lead, and then he took off very nicely at the end. A very nice victory for this horse. And then an absolute disaster came in the Kentucky Jockey Club as a 2-year-old at Churchill. This horse finished 7th by 8 lengths. Really didn't have the best of trips and was just not his day to win. His last 3 outings, he had horrible post-draw. Today, he has a good post-draw from the inside, and like I said, if there's a horse that could be Justified today, which I highly doubt, but if there is, I think Quip can get it from the inside. Second I have for the third horse I like in this race in order is the 2-horse Lone Sailor. He's 15-1. Irad Ortiz Jr., the horse you definitely want in your superfecta. 3 Occult by Majestic Warrior. Tom Amos trains this one. This horse had a decent effort in the Derby a few weeks ago. He finished 8th by 9.5 lengths, and he didn't have the best beginnings. I think if he had a better beginning, I think he could have had a little bit of a better position. He wasn't going to win, but maybe he got 6th or something. But, he didn't break all that well. Had a little bit of track for trouble, but he was closing up well at the end. Decent effort. This is the kind of horse that loves the wet going, and he's going to really do well in it today. He's the main closer, I think, in this race. Before that before the Kentucky Derby, he ran the Louisiana Derby, where he finished second by a neck. It was an all-out finish. He closed up well. He just missed at the end, but it was a decent, somewhat effort. And then before that, in Fairgrounds Mile 70, February the 19th optional claimer, he finished second by 1/4 lengths, closed up well, but it wasn't a very tough group of horses. He's a closer here that should really do well. He's not good enough to win, but he's definitely good enough to get a place position. Another horse I like here is the number 5 horse here. Like I said, not to win, but he's definitely good enough to get a place. The 5 horse Good Magic, I think, is going to get bitten to the ground. I don't think personally, I do not like this horse going back around on 2 weeks rest. I think this is the perfect kind of horse that should have waited for the Belmont. His daddy won the Preakness 11 years ago, but he had a great trip that year. This horse, Good Magic, he finished second in the Derby a few weeks ago, and he had full. It looked like he was loaded at the top of the stretch, but he just overtook him. This horse just couldn't get that good closing kick. Before then, the Bluegrass, he won by 1.5 lengths from a little bit of a wide post draw. It wasn't the best race, but he won. And then before then, the Fountain Youth, he finished 3rd. He never really did any running there off a break. But, like I said, with the quick turnaround, I just do not like this horse a lot. He had to be used a lot in the Derby. And, he's a horse that I wouldn't put him for second, but he's third or fourth is a good position for him in your superfecta tickets. Another horse I like here for fifth or fourth, or not second, not first or second, but a horse I'll put on the bottom end of the superfecta ticket would be the third three horse Sporting Chance. This horse is a horse that will like the mud a lot. He's a little bit of a closer, I think, or he could either close or sit a little bit closer to the pace. His last run 2 weeks ago in the Pat Day Mile at Churchill, he finished fourth by 8 lengths and had a horrible trip. Didn't break all that well, had to check up a few times. Was wide, and he just couldn't get that. It just wasn't his day to win. Before then, the Bluegrass, he finished third, but was placed fourth due to disqualification because he ducked out in the top of the lane, causing interference. He wasn't going to win that day anyway, but didn't have to cause the interference. And then before then, the Rebel, he finished fifth. Just really couldn't get that good closing kick. I did back him that day in the Rebel. I remember it so clearly, but Magnum Moon just was a little bit better. But this horse, he's very versatile, I think. He could sit a little bit closer. He could come from behind. Like I said, he's not good enough to win, but he's definitely good enough to get third, fourth, or fifth. So he's a horse you want to use in your exotics. So watch out for him there. And to recap my bets now for race number 13 from Pimlico, the 143rd running of the Preakness Stakes. Sorry, I've been talking for a while. I can't speak. To recap my bets now for the 143rd running of the Preakness, gonna go as a top selection here and a single in the multi-race, number 7 horse Justify. I'm going to go 7, 1, 2, 5, 3 in the super high 5, basically my top 5. And I'm going to play a superfecta key this race. I'm going to go 7 with the 1, 2, 3, 5. 7 with the 1, 2, 3, 5. For 10 cents, that's going to cost you $6 about. For $1, it's going to cost you $60. So it's these are very affordable tickets. So I love Pimlico with the 10 cents minimums for the supers. It makes a player like me, really do well here. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Join me in a few weeks' time for the English Derby preview here on YouTube, and join me in 3 weeks' time for the Belmont Stakes. It's going to be a great Belmont this year. Good luck, everybody.